Yo, 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 what's happening? Nico here. Hey, today I'd like to talk about relationships, mainly because we are ending the month of October, headed into November, December, January. And normally, for me, this season would be a season that um, I used to scramble to find somebody to hang out with. Growing up, they call it cuddling season, but it's winter, right? Nobody really likes to spend winter by themselves. And sometimes when I was over drinking or using, I would completely space out. Think about that. And then I'd feel alone. And that feeling of alone would lead to desperation. And desperation would lead me into relationships that just weren't good. They weren't healthy. They weren't mutual. They weren't equally sacrificing. And that's a problem. The reason that's a problem is because those type of relationships will just take advantage of you. That's what will happen. So I wanted to talk about relationships, and kind of the word that I got, or the phrase that I came up with, is that relationships should create the child. The child should not create the relationships. Because normally what I see to happen, or I've seen happen in my own environment, my own culture, my own community, is that people will scramble to be around somebody for the winter because they don't want to spend Thanksgiving, they don't want to go to the family events without saying they don't have somebody. And then they'll fall into this relationship, and usually it gets intimate, and people forget that they why they originally got into the relationship. Mainly because they were trying to fulfill immediate gratification, so they didn't have a plan for what they wanted to do in the relationship, what they wanted to develop in the relationship. So usually about September, we'll start to see the babies that came from this time frame. And in my experience, I've seen individuals say, "Oh well, he's changed. Oh well, she's changed. She's crazy." I really don't think that the individual is crazy or that they've changed. I think that we don't go into these scenarios and these environments, these relationships, with the right mindset. So then you'll have a baby mama, a baby daddy, and then you'll have a child who's from a broken family. This isn't a knock on those situations, but I just want to make it real. I want to have like a honest conversation about it because I found myself trying to seek that immediate gratification, right? I found myself in that desperation mode again because I was like, yo, I've been focusing on my work. I've been focusing on myself, my personal development. I'm going to spend another winter by myself. Kind of hurt my feelings. And so I got into this desperation mode of, oh, maybe I need to get on one of these apps. Maybe I need to go out to these bars that I used to hang out at. Maybe I do need to go to these parties. The reality is, I've set myself apart from a lot of the activities that individuals um, allow themselves to be taken over by a feeling rather than a fact. And fact is, I want to have a relationship, yes, but I want a mutual long term relationship. I don't just want one for the holidays. Feelings, I see beautiful women all the time. Yeah, I have feelings about it, but the fact is, if I just act on those feelings all the time, first of all, I'm not going to be going after them for the right reasons. Secondly, I'm not going to be looking to develop them as a human being, show them the best parts that they can't see yet. And that's what relationships should do. Again, the phrase that I kind of came up with is that relationships should create the child. The child should not create the relationships. And that's just because I'm in a time frame where I can see that happening. I can see some relationships being formed that I know are purely out of desperation of not wanting to be alone. So my next question to you is, how do you deal with being alone? How do you spend your time alone? Are you telling yourself, you know what, I'm crafting this beautiful human being who's going to be able to be a gift to someone else? Or are you saying to yourself, man, another winter alone. It's going to be cold. I wish I want, I can't. We get the opportunity to decide on how we're going to approach these things. So, my encouragement to you, if you're in the season of aloneness, of singleness, embrace it, develop yourself into the best person that you can be, and get as far as you can on your own. Usually, around that point is when we see some help come along, because you are a wonderful human who can bring the wonderfulness out of someone else. And I believe that's what relationships should be. Don't forget, you are not expected to be an angel. The goal around here is just to do better. It's okay to have no halo.